Here we go. All right, here we go. This is the ugly truth. Today we got a real good one, and I can say I don't know where we're going to go with this, but it is going to be fun. It is, what do you do when you wake up next to somebody that you don't know, or you wake up next to a very good friend?
Oh,
Yeah, this one needs a drink. So wise elder, let me ask you. Do you have any experience in either of these two playing fields?
One of them, and luckily, I've never woken up next to a friend.
Oh, okay.
That is, I can't fathom that.
It's not that bad.
I can't wait for that story. But I have woken up next to somebody that I didn't know. And obviously I had met them the night before. We were I was just out of high school, just graduated, and I was partying. We partied every night. And we were partying, a bunch of people over at the house. And I obviously got drunk. Back then, I was drinking grain alcohol and squirt. That's a stupid drink. Don't ever do it. That's a piece of advice. It may be unsolicited, but I'm telling you, do not drink grain alcohol.
That's the name of this show, unsolicited advice.
And I got obviously lit. And I woke up next to a young lady who's gorgeous, by the way. I mean, just absolutely knockout, just drop dead gorgeous.
So what'd you do? How'd it turn out?
Well, the problem is when we woke up, she knew who I was. And I had no idea what her name was. And, you're kind of laying there, and I kind of played like I was still kind of drunk, hungover, like that combination, because I figured if I could play that for long enough, maybe she would just get dressed and go. Right. And she's like, "Oh, Joe," she's like, "How do you feel this morning?" I'm like, hey, you, I mean, what do you say?
You just don't use the name.
Right. You couldn't. I mean, I didn't have the name.
Don't put yourself in any situation where her name needs to be stated.
Yeah. Well, that's easier said than done. Let me tell you, because, it's just a conversation, and, you chat for a little bit, and then you try to get up, and then she wants to cuddle, and it's like, oh, no. This is a one-night stand. Like, this is, we don't,
maybe not in her eyes. Who knows?
Well, that was the problem. And let me tell you something. When you have a one-night stand, you better make sure that it's a one-night stand to you both. Because if it isn't, it's a freaking nightmare the next day. You just need to make sure, hey, this is what it is. We don't go on beyond tonight, unless tomorrow night we all get drunk and we do it again. But which would be a two-night stand. Well, then
you're getting into some dangerous territory.
No, not really. I mean, I don't think so. I mean, look, you're young. You're doing stupid stuff. I think, now if it happens too many times, then yeah, I think, maybe feelings start to come into this. But when you don't remember her, how do you have feelings? I mean, you can't, it's not possible to build feelings for somebody when you don't remember their name. Now, if she builds feelings for me, that just complicates the situation. And then you just got to stay away for a week or two.
Yes. Okay. That's fair.
Just kind of get out of the house. But that morning, luckily for me, my buddy came in and said, "Hey, Joe, we need your help out back." Threw my clothes on, was gone. So I was able to skate out of that situation unscathed. But
I was going to say, I will say, maybe in today's world, it's a little more difficult to get away with those things because of social media and cell phones. And, when you're real drunk, you're going to add them on Snapchat and Instagram.
No doubt.
So back then you don't have that. All right, I'm going to hit you up later today and message you. But today, There's no escaping.
You can't get away from it.
No.
Yeah. And I was fortunate to have grown up in that time where you didn't have to worry about all that other stuff. Like you just, but now you're right, man. It's that you've added them. And sometimes you don't even remember doing that.
Yeah.
But all of a sudden now they're hitting you up.
New
4 or 5
message.
times
Who
a
is
day.
this? I don't remember
Right.
Jessica. Who's that?
Who's Rhonda?
Right.
Yeah. It's like, no. Wait. So, what was your situation there, big guy?
Well, so I was on the opposite end of that spectrum, if you will.
Yes.
I've never woken up next to a stranger. I'm really not I will preface this. I'm really not a big hookup culture guy or have a lot of one night stands necessarily. I mean, they've happened here and there, but I've never, I don't know, not a ton of them. But so I woke up.
Are you against it?
No. I've just never really been
That guy.
that guy. Yeah.
Okay, good
Never
for you.
really been in the scene, I guess. I'd say the last year or two, I've tried to adopt the model. Try not to sleep with anybody that I'm not willing to have a kid with. Just because I don't want an unfortunate accident to come my way. Anyways, that's a whole nother ball game. That's a whole nother piece of unsolicited advice.
We'll
but
get into that later, folks.
yes.
We don't have the strength at the moment.
No, we do not. Anyways, I woke up next to somebody who was a very good friend. Knew her for how many years? At least, I'd say 2 years at that point.
Oh boy.
At least 2 or 3 years.
Yeah.
Good friends in college. Woke up next to each other. It's like, oh, okay. At that point, I kind of remembered the night before. This is what happened. So it was a very small party, maybe 6 or 7 people, and
Yep.
she was the only female there. We were all friends. So I don't know how this actually came about.
Was her boyfriend there?
No.
Okay.
I don't know if they were officially dating at the time. They were seeing one another. I don't know if they were actually dating.
Okay. Seeing one another and dating are the same thing.
No, not if you're just hooking up, but you haven't established it. It's weird in today's lingo. People seem to think they can get a free pass if they're hooking up with someone regularly, but they don't have a title on it.
So they're friends with benefits, but not in a relationship.
Yes, and I think that's maybe where there were, but they eventually moved into a relationship.
After you woke up next to her?
Yes, I
Fair.
think.
Fair
From
enough.
from what I understood, because I was friends with the guy too. That's, the thing.
That's right.
He wasn't there, but I'm friends with him. He still doesn't know.
Yeah.
Um,
That'll come up in a later episode as well, folks. So stay
yeah,
tuned.
Exactly. But anyways, most of the time, bro code. I would normally be very open about that, but because I don't think they were officially dating, I was like, well, I'll let it slide.
Sure.
Anyways, woke up next to her, and I kind of remembered the events of the previous night. I
Yeah.
did not remember how it initiated.
Yeah.
But then when we woke up, we did it again. So I guess it doesn't really matter. It's
So
like,
it
well,
wasn't really a one night stand.
it was a one night and one morning situation. And so, but after that, this is what's really funny. The next morning, I mean, I had graduated college the year before, and she had like a year or two left.
Okay.
So I was in her dorm room. We went to the dining hall and got breakfast with one another. So we were in the dining hall. All the other students are around. Based on my appearance, it was very obvious what happened. Very obvious. If I had the picture of what I looked like the day after, I would show it. But, we went and got breakfast. It's like, all right, I'll see you later. And no questions asked. We still hung out every once in a while later on, never in a sexual way, but that was the end of it. Nobody spoke of it again.
Wow.
It worked out great.
Wow. That is crazy. Crazy. You did remember her name.
Oh, yeah. I knew her for 2 or 3 years. Of course, I remembered her name.
Okay.
I still know her name now. I could hit her up right now and she'd be like, hey, what's going on? No problem. No problems.
Okay.
That was, and I will say this. If you sleep with a good friend, that is normally going to create a lot of issues.
No doubt.
You are
No doubt.
like, and it's interesting because I think me and this friend, we always sort of like found each other
Mhm.
attractive, we would have done. And that night there was just the the sparks flew somehow and it ended up happening, but we were both doing other things, didn't have time for any later. I don't know. We just didn't pursue anything after that, but we were perfectly okay with that.
Was alcohol involved?
Oh yeah, I was plastered. I don't remember how this actually happened. I only remember it happening. I don't remember the lead up. Like I had gotten blackout drunk. Somehow I remember. I'm like, oh wow, you're here and we're doing this. Okay. But I don't remember how that actually happened.
Okay. So you don't remember the deed itself?
I remember the deed itself. I don't know what
Led
I
up
don't
to
know
it.
who initiated the deed
Okay.
or how it happened, but it happened. And I remember the deed itself, and then we did it again the next morning. So I mean, at that point,
And that for sure you do remember.
yeah. But and so maybe I'm a rare situation, and maybe I'm not the guy to go to for this advice. But as long as the communication is strong,
Yeah.
and you both establish, okay, this happened, cool. If it happens again in the future, maybe, hey, cool, we did it once, no big deal. If we both want to do it again, no problem. Maybe it's meant to go down that road. Just don't be awkward. Like, and I think if I had woken up and I was real awkward about it, then maybe it could have gone weird and the whole friendship would have been ruined. But at the same time, it's like, well, hey, we're both lying here. We did it again in the morning, like no big deal. And so
I think you're a pretty special situation.
I think so too.
Because I think in most circumstances, if you wake up next to your friend,
it would ruin the friendship.
I think it would ruin the friendship.
It ruins the friendship a lot.
I think you guys were able to surpass it and you were lucky.
Yeah.
For me, my advice, if you wake up to somebody you don't know, get freaking dressed and get the hell out of there. There is no reason to stick around. Put it on, leave it off. I don't care.
Right.
Go streaking down the street.
Here's my question.
Sure.
What if they're beautiful and you'd like to get to know them?
He always has to complicate things, folks.
What if you look at them and you're like, wow, I'd like to get to know you while I actually remember this time.
Okay. Well, how do you propose doing that when you don't know her name?
Hey, we had a wonderful time last night. Can you add yourself on my Instagram here? Type it in.
God, I love where your head's at.
I'm telling you,
See, it's the young people, man. They're teaching the old. I don't know what's going on, but yeah, that's a great way to get around. See, we didn't have that back then, but yeah, it's like, hey, here's my phone. Add your info in there.
Exactly right.
Yeah. Not that some girls won't buy that. They'll be like, add it yourself.
No, you got to say, hey, can you just type this in real quick? What's the number? Just add the.
Just put your info in.
This is what you do. You don't ask them. You say, here, add yourself, and they'll do it. They don't think about it. You know how many times people have handed me a phone and I've typed in my name and I've typed in my number? It happens all the time.
Now, what if the girl looks at you and says, I'd rather not?
And you say, okay, sure. Okay, no big deal.
Now you're destroyed. It'll probably ruin your life and you'll end up selling phone books if you can even get that job.
Well, they don't have phone books anymore.
Fair enough.
Fair enough. I don't know. Crack.
Guys, I really appreciate you listening to this episode. It got a little crazy, but the fact is that friends is the ugly truth.
Cheers to the ugly truth. Try not to wake up next to your best friend. It will get real ugly. And do follow us on social media @TheUglyTruths.
We'll see you next time.